when things don't go your way, just being logical, when things don't go your way, what is getting bummed out going to do? It's like we run out of gas, we're in the desert. Sitting there arguing over whose fault it is isn't getting us out of the desert. Right now, let's get a plan to get out of here, then we'll argue about whose fault it was. But getting bummed out does nothing for the situation. It exacerbates it. It makes it worse. It makes it illogical now because we're pointing fingers and you're my problem. And then we say things because the brain is disengaged. The emotions are running the show. And we got a problem. Learning to think properly. That's the big thing. Thinking properly. Romans 12:1 says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good, acceptable, and pleasing will of God. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed in the renewing of your mind." That's what's supposed to take place, being transformed in your mind and being renewed. Listen, conversations in your head that never happen. You ever fight that fight? You have a million conversations in your head that never ever take place in reality. Learning to control your thoughts. Thinking properly, being spirit-led, learning new response habits. Here's what I like to do. A couple comes in, they had a huge fight. I mean, something small, but it's a huge fight. You ever do that? Sure. So what I try to do is walk them back through the process. What could you have done different? How could you have responded different? Let's play the tape over and redo it. When she said that, when she did that, how could you have handled that differently? And make them walk through a role play to see that, boy, there is another way I could do this. I remember when I was training up a young pastor who's now doing a great job pastoring over 200 people. Just a wonderful young man, but he and his wife, they came and boy, they just argued all the time. He just argued. And so I sat him down one day and I said, "Hey, Brian, there's another way to do that. You can stay calm and still get your point across." He goes, "Oh, that's impossible. There's no way." I said, "No, there's a way. There's a way to stay calm and still get your point across. Volume isn't the authority. Communication is what you're looking for here." So, there's 4 steps into anger, 4 steps out. I'm going to run through these very quickly. The first one is you're born angry. I mean, what's the first thing they do when you come out of the womb? You get slapped. First thing. Hello. Anger is part of your sin nature. Read the outline in Galatians 5. "For the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adulteries, fornication, wrath, fits of rage, anger." Work of the flesh. You're born angry. Second step. After you're born angry, somewhere along the line, you get offended. The kid takes your toy. Someone teases you, calls you Four Eyes. You're left out of being picked for the basketball game. Your parents left you crying in the corner. You didn't get your milk quick enough. So you're born angry. Now there's all these offenses going on in your life, which make you more angry. And what happened when you were 2 years old? Do you remember what happened when you were 2? No. That's when you got into that zone called the terrible twos, where you threw tantrums every day because you didn't get your way. And you got your way by throwing a tantrum and your parents giving in. So you're born angry, people offend you your whole life. And then the third thing is, how many of you had at least one angry parent? Anybody have at least one angry parent? Or a sibling. So you saw the model, the example of anger. You're born angry, people offended you, and everybody around you had problems with anger. So guess what? You jump right in. I come from an Italian family. I told you about my grandfather had an anger problem, my dad had an anger problem, my brother had an anger problem. I had an anger problem until I got saved. I mean, you come to our house for spaghetti and meatballs, man, it was a yelling match. But we thought we were talking normal. We're yelling and screaming, throwing food, doing the whole bit. We thought it was normal. Then I found out it wasn't normal. And the fourth thing is, you're born angry, you're offended your whole life, you have people that modeled anger for you, you developed your own anger habits. Habits of anger. This is how you do things. Your knee-jerk reaction is do this. You're going to say that, you're going to feel that feeling and act upon that feeling. So that's why we have anger problems. We're born angry, we're offended, we've had it modeled for us, we develop patterns and habits of anger. So now what do? How do I combat that? This is what the Lord showed me. Since you're born angry, you need to be born again. Anybody been born again? Yeah. See, Gary still looks like Gary, but inside I'm completely different. Everything's different. Nothing's changed. So now I'm born again. I have the Spirit of God. The second thing is I properly evaluate situations in my life. That means I lower expectations and I'm quick to forgive. What happens if you don't forgive right away? It ferments. It ferments inside and it turns to bitterness. Hebrews 12 says bitterness defiles everybody around you and causes even more trouble. So I'm born again to offset being born angry. I properly evaluate people, lower my expectations, and I'm quick to forgive so the offenses don't mount up and turn to bitterness. Number 3, I look for a new example to follow in my life. I want to be around men who are self-controlled because they're spirit-controlled. I want to be around men who know how to handle a situation calmly. A wise man calms a quarrel. He that loves a quarrel loves sin. Sin. Patient man knows how to bring calm. My wife came from a very abusive background, very abusive childhood, so it was nothing for her to get angry at me. Nothing. So I had to learn over the years how to diffuse my wife. It's almost like a box, woohoo! Let me get out. Whoa, watch that one. Are you defusing your spouse or are you infusing her? Are you bringing calm? I told my staff this. When you come to church, when you work here, you bring 2 buckets in your hands. One is full of gas, the other is full of water. When there's a little fire going on in the church, which one are you bringing? You pouring gas on the situation, or you pouring water on the situation? So a patient man calms a quarrel. A wise man knows how to take over a city.